Yeah. And now you've seen the gut affecting just about every other organ in the body, correct?
There's no way it doesn't. Yeah. It's unfortunately, it's our immune system.
Mm-hmm.
But fortunately now I'm so grateful for the peptides and like stem cells like yours and different really great tools. We can really calm things so much faster. I find our protocols work twice as fast now. We get people
Wow.
healed up so much quickly from whether it's SIRS or mast cell, mold, Lyme, whatever it might be, low hormones. And we're able to reverse things so much quicker and faster now. It's not hard, not
Yeah.
like it was like 10, 20 years ago.
That's amazing. That's so encouraging. That speaks volume of how far the science has come.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no wonder people are biohacking because we do have some really powerful tools available, including stem cells and peptides, and and all the things that you're doing, and all the there's so many, energy medicine, right? There's so much going on. So that brings to mind about my audience, which are people who are searching for better health, but a lot of them already have pretty good health and they just want to keep them and live longer, and really having the best time possible for as long as possible. So there's a huge growing biohacking community, and I think you're very familiar with the whole community, right? You've been around it for quite a while, so maybe you can shed some light on what you see that's going on in the biohacking community. So I know there are some myths out there, things that you've seen that are, not so helpful for people. So maybe you can share some of those wisdom.
Okay, sure. Well, what's super hot right now is Ozempic. I love Ozempic. Everyone's
Yeah,
great on Ozempic. It does
that's
work.
semaglutide. That's
Semi-gluten, like,
right,
really,
very popular,
yeah.
partially because of Kardashians.
Oh yeah, Kardashians and everyone out there, anyone who looks really good, you can bet like they're probably on it. I mean, it's pretty much like medically induced anorexia. And I tried it for a while too because I needed it for a period of time. I had a real long consequence with Delta. A couple of years ago, I got Delta, COVID, SARS-CoV-2, and I
Mm.
just could not lose weight afterwards. I didn't think I had long COVID, but I ended up I had it. I wish I'd checked my spike protein, but back then the testing wasn't very accurate. Now it is. I think we can check Quest, and get like an accurate reading up to 25%. 25,000, sorry, 25,000 and see what the levels are. So we have all these like really, cool spike protein protocols. I had done a lot of them and I had to do all of them to start to lose, body fat, body weight, despite everything I was doing, good gut and, working out and high protein diet, all that. So I added in the semi and I loved it. But like a lot of women who report out there, my period started to go wonky and I
Mm.
wasn't tracking my hormones, but I'm pretty certain they tanked because my
Mm.
adrenals, my period just started to go kind of wonky until I ate more, gained weight back, to restore like the signals of abundance to the body to, bring that all back on. But a lot of women are reporting that now in either like
Mm.
different forums and elsewhere. You don't want to age prematurely, losing our hormones, our female hormones. And that's what semaglutide might do for people because they're not eating enough calories.
Mm.
They're not eating a calorie dense diet enough, or they're not taking. So, one of the hacks I have, if people are going to do it, just make sure you're on plenty of adrenal support. I
Mm.
recommend at least 3. We sell my most famous, bundle we love is Serenogen and Nanomojo. And then if people have estrogen dominance and they're not in perimenopause, or they're, if they have a high enough level of estrogen, we add on some Dragon Mojo. That's a formula I made. It has 2 estrogen blockers like Chrysin and Dim, and then it has some anabolic hormone support like Tribulus, which is also antifungal, helps the gut and supports like cortisol normalization. So we do at least 3, adrenal supports, and then just advise people, go on some drug holidays, take semaglutide and get off it maybe every 6 weeks, see where your hunger and satiety levels are. And then there's many natural ways to raise some GLP-1.
Mm.
One is getting in tons of fiber, all many studies with fiber show they naturally raise GLP-1. Because it's all in the gut. We make GLP-1 in the gut.
Maybe can you explain to people a little bit of what GLP-1 is?
Yeah, so GLP-1 is like glucagon-like protein, and it helps us to feel satiety. So not only is semaglutide helpful for weight because it helps improve food satiety and it actually causes food aversion, but it actually, people notice that they have less addictions for alcohol if they're on cocaine, narcotics, benzodiazepines. It's been studied now in many arenas and so helpful to reduce these. But studies show as soon as they're off it, the addiction comes back. So we still need lifestyle changes, trauma-informed therapy, and support, still a lot of support. I think it's still best to get the natural GLP-1 up, but we don't have ways to test it right now. Someday maybe we'll have a way of testing GLP-1 levels in the body, but I can tell when I have naturally good satiety. I feel full after eating like half my meal. I can like just push it away naturally and I feel good. Usually this is when I'm running really a lot. I have to do a lot of cardio for me to get my natural GLP-1 high enough. And my, normal eating patterns are, I have good satiety, and I don't crave stuff. But other people, they might be different, they might need to do other things. And also I love fiber, I go on and off it because it's kind of, sometimes it's a pain in the butt, but, doing a good fiber shake, I call it bionic fiber. I get in 1 or 2 tablespoons of psyllium, some inulin. I get some pomegranate extract, which tastes really good. The one I love is called polyprebiotic. It's on a lot of dispensaries. And glucomannan, which we talked about earlier before the call. It's from Chinese konjac root and it swells up. So you got to kind of drink it fast, but I'll do like half a teaspoon or 1 teaspoon with a huge bunch of water because it'll like swell within, if you don't drink it fast enough, you're going to get a cement block, but it will swell in your belly as well. And so it has that benefit to fill our stomach. That's how our ancient kind, our kindred, they ate these kind of foods and then they felt full, but it was feeding their gut flora. Doesn't feed us, there's no calories. It's to feed the flora. And then the flora will trigger making GLP-1 for people and create, that satiety and healthy gut-brain axis. A lot of people just don't have this because they've lost all their good flora for one, and you can't resurrect what's not there. So I always recommend when people are taking fiber, make sure they do some good probiotic, either ours or others, and do some testing, see what's missing. Like often people are just missing a huge phyla, both Firmicutes and Clostridioides. These are our 2 phyla in the gut. If you're missing these, like you're kind of fucked for life. It's like a bank. It's like a bank account. You're not going to go forward if you have no assets. People can keep trying and trying or doing like semaglutide forever, but why? Like, eventually someone may look at cancer because you need the good flora to prevent cancer. There's one class of chemotherapy agents called the checkpoint inhibitors, PD-1 inhibitors. Like Keytruda, bifidobacterium, like in our probiotic, has to be present for it to work. Actually, in head-to-head studies, bifidobacterium even works better than Keytruda, being malignancies and metastases.
Wow.
Side effects. As we know, Keytruda kills people. It will cause pancreatitis, liver failure, pancreatic failure, increase the risk of type 1 diabetes and death. Yeah. So flora are really, really important. Like feeding them is great, but you can't resurrect what's not there.
Yeah, that's interesting. So the first myth is about the very popular Ozempic that everybody's jumping on. Apparently has benefits for a lot of other organs, right? Liver, brain.
There's actually no organ that doesn't have the GLP-1 receptors almost.
Right. But the biohackers, by jumping on this, they possibly are missing the main message, which is how you can increase your GLP-1 while optimizing your gut.
Right, exactly. And then they're tanking their adrenals. Like they need more testosterone. Men, they're using more testosterone. They're shrinking their testicles and they're causing their hair to fall out.
Mm.
You can't get around that when you're doing bioidentical hormones with exogenous testosterone. Your hair's going to fall out. They need more implants. They need more peptides and stem cells from you and me. And you're just putting a Band-Aid on something. You don't have to. You know, I shake hands with all these biohackers. All the fuck of them have cold fucking hands. Why? They are making their adrenaline go up. They're constricting their blood vessels. And so their hands can't stay warm. Their adrenals just tank. They suck. And if your adrenals suck, you have cortisol dysregulation. Now you're causing leaky gut problems.
Definitely a lot of people have cold hand issues. And you think it's because people often talk about thyroid.
Thyroid, it's everything. HPPAT, right? Axis. It's all of it. It's all interrelated. It's to keep us like at our best, these pathways. But once we, one can take over for another temporarily, but they can't like forever and ever and ever.
Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting. Okay. So Ozempic is one of the interesting trends that you are shedding some lights on. Anything else that
we're getting the dual agonists like tirzepatide.
Okay.
All right, Mounjaro. We're coming out now with all the triple agonists. The pharma industry is relentless. This is not going to end. This is like $100 billion industry in the next few years.
Wow.
It's huge. Yeah. And I love tirzepatide as well. It has had great benefits for certain clients of mine. Even for me, I tried it.
Yeah.
But it's even more stronger and it will block glucagon. Glucagon is our natural way to raise our glucose. And for those who have like impaired liver function because of like non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which is related to gut problems, of course, candida and fungal overgrowth, mold overgrowth, and Klebsiella citrobacter E. coli, all these bacteria that make alcohol and aldehydes that are fibrosing the liver, and candida that's fibrosing the liver. If their livers are already compromised, they don't have a lot of gluconeogenesis going on there. Now you add on tirzepatide, which blocks glucagon really effectively, which is great if you're diabetic. That's what tirzepatide was created for. But in people who are healthy, what happens is what I notice, I hit a wall, like my glucose like tanks so low. So we have a lot of reports of people, their blood sugars are below 50. You can get into a car accident, or you add a little alcohol, because alcohol also has a hypoglycemic effect, or all these, I'm not saying dumbass, but biohackers are really into taking metformin or really high dose berberine.
Yes.
Are tanking their blood sugars and they think they're fine. They are not fine. They are on the blinkers of really low hypoglycemia.